Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the post-game recap between the Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens. And just like their first meeting back on January 13th, this one needed extra time, and the Oilers needed a power play in the extra frame to pull out the victory. Except that game on January 13th, I felt the Oilers played much better than this one. Now, you don't like to critique a win too much, but there will be a lot to talk about in the day after video tomorrow. But for tonight, let's just do the recap for us. So, first period, it was announced that Connor Brown was scratched. Derek Ryan stepped in. Carrick fights Pezzetta early in the game. Great fight, very spirited battle. Love that for Carrick. Pickard was in net for Edmonton. Ekholm had a great pinch. Gets it to McDavid, who dangles the Montreal D and dangles through Sam Montembeault and tucks it for the 1-0 Oilers lead. McDavid had another chance 5-hole, and the puck just slid wide of the net. Then the Oilers take a penalty at the 16-minute mark. Slavkovsky hits the bar. Pickard with a save, and then Matheson put one just wide. Oilers make the kill. They were 1-for-1 at that point in the game. They ended up finishing 3-for-3 on the penalty kill. At the end of the first period, pretty low event overall. It was 1-0 Edmonton. Shots were 8-7 in favor of the Habs, and the expected goals for was tied. They both had a 0.68 expected goals for percentage in that period. The Oilers, they weren't giving up anything 5-on-5. Montreal's best chances in the first came on the power play. Kind of a similar story to the Oilers game against Colorado on Saturday. I thought the Oilers overall, defensively played very well. But as the game went on, Montreal was definitely getting a lot of chances. So second period, we had Nuge, Ryan, and Henrique together. We had Kane, McDavid, and Hyman. Then we had Fogle, Draisaitl, McLeod, and then Janmark, Carrick, and Perry. So all the lines pretty much got switched up other than the Fogle, Draisaitl, McLeod line. But every other line had some kind of change tonight. Oilers had a good shift early. Pickard made a good save off of a tip. Stetcher was walking off a potential injury. They showed him walking under the tunnel. He ended up being okay, though. Oilers were struggling with establishing a forecheck, and that was kind of the story pretty much for most of the game, really. The Oilers were really struggling to establish any kind of, not only a forecheck, but an attack off the rush, too. They couldn't really do anything. I want to give a lot of credit to the Montreal Canadiens tonight. They played a good game. Bouchard made a good defensive play. Pickard then stops Anderson in close. The top line was hemmed in for a little bit. Then Ryan McLeod takes a penalty. The Oilers were just looking out of sorts. Harris fell, and it was determined that, McLeod didn't actually even touch Harris's feet. He kind of just fell, but you can't review that right now in the league, so Oilers penalty. Pickard made a good save in tight. The Oilers only gave up one shot on the penalty kill. It was a good kill, 2-for-2 at this point. Henrique then scores his first as an Oiler. It was a great play by Ekholm. Finds Henrique in the crease, who buries it. 2-0 Edmonton. Now, Adam Henrique, number 19, scores his 19th goal of the season on March 19th. There's a lot of 19s going on here, and I'm actually super happy for Adam Henrique. He deserves it. Matheson had a late hit on Ryan. The Oilers get a power play from it. Oilers had a few good looks at the end of the period, but no goals. End of the second, it was 2-0 Edmonton. The shots were even at 17 apiece, and the expected goals were 1.72 to 1.54 in favor of the Oilers. Now, Montreal was playing well, but Pickard was playing better. I wrote that on my notes, and then opening shift of the third period, Nick Suzuki scores, makes it 2-1, and that ended a 142-minute shutout streak for Calvin Pickard. Kulak then drew a power play, but then Draisaitl takes a hooking penalty to negate the power play. It was 4-on-4 for 49 seconds. And then Kaiden Guhle rips one past Pickard off the rush. Nurse and Bouchard, it looked like there was a weird switch that happened in the neutral zone. Bouchard was caught flat-footed. Guhle comes in on the left side and rips a puck past Calvin Pickard during the 4-on-4. I think Calvin Pickard would want that one back personally. And I wrote down the Oilers are clearly the second best team tonight. McDavid was stopped by Montembeault in close. The Habs were having relentless pressure. They forced an Oilers icing. Pickard made a great save on Anderson. It was a really, really bad turnover by Darnell Nurse that led to that scoring chance. And then McDavid and Draisaitl were reunited with 5 minutes to play. Corey Perry was then put with Nugent Hopkins and Adam Henrique. And then Evander Kane drew a power play with 2:43 remaining. Hyman hits the post. Montembeault saves save on McDavid on the rebound. And then Henrique got high-sticked in the neutral zone. He was cut and bleeding. They did review it, so the Oilers get a 4-minute power play near the end of regulation. Hyman was stopped point blank at the end of the period. At the end of the third, score was 2-2. Shots were 25-25. Again, shots were pretty much even after every single period, and the expected goals were 3.1 to 2.3 in favor of Edmonton. Now, in overtime, the Oilers had 3 minutes and 33 seconds of 4-on-3. The Oilers were generating not a whole lot, honestly, for the first 2.5 minutes of that power play. Then Hyman and Ekholm were stopped. That second unit came out. You had Hyman, Ekholm, Kane, and Nurse, and they were actually moving the puck well, and they were getting some looks. And then Draisaitl scores with 15 seconds left on the power play. The Oilers escape with a 3-2 victory. If it wasn't for all the power plays that Edmonton got at the end of the third and obviously in overtime, I have a feeling Montreal probably would have won this game, but they don't ask how, they ask how many. The Oilers come away with the 2 points. At the end of the game, it was 3-2 Oilers. The final shots were 31-25 in favor of Edmonton, and the expected goals were 3.9 to 2.3 in favor of Edmonton. But if we break down the expected goals for just at 5-on-5 or even strength, it was 1.7 to 1.6 in favor of Montreal. So Montreal actually had the better chances, and they held a slight expected goals for advantage at even strength. So like I said, though, the Oilers, they managed to pull out the victory. Now, my personal 3 stars of the night. Third star, I went with Mattias Ekholm. He had 2 assists, and he was all over the ice. He looked phenomenal. Second star, I gave to Connor McDavid. He had 1 goal and 1 assist. And first star, I gave to Calvin Pickard. He is the only reason Edmonton was able to, one, get a point to begin with, but also get that second point in overtime as well. He didn't make a save in overtime, but he gave Edmonton a chance to win. He made the harder, more high-danger chance saves, and Calvin Pickard played a terrific game. Very happy for Pickard. He's been a terrific backup for Edmonton. Love to see it. Next up for the Oilers, they play the Buffalo Sabres on Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if Edmonton doesn't start getting into high gear sooner rather than later, it's not going to be pretty, especially once we get into the playoff season. Edmonton needs to start improving their play. Like I said, there's going to be a lot to talk about in the day after video tomorrow, but I have been doing some research on the Oilers over their last 10 to 12 games, the last month and a little bit, and Edmonton's play at 5-on-5 has not been good enough. And they need to start pressing the issue a bit more. And Chris Knobloch, there's some line changes that I would like him to make, and there's some lines that I would like him to keep. I don't think breaking up that top line and having Evander Kane with McDavid and Hyman was the right play. However, I will say that line is the only line that had a positive impact for Edmonton tonight in terms of the expected goals for at 5-on-5. Those 3 combined were an 86.69 expected goals for percentage. That's Kane, McDavid, Hyman. They played well. Evander Kane was very noticeable tonight. He had a couple good looks, could have had a goal or 2. I didn't mind his game tonight. He was my player to watch. But in terms of the rest of the team, Fogle, Draisaitl, McLeod, 15% expected goals for percentage. Janmark, Carrick, and Perry, 13% expected goals for percentage. And then Nugent Hopkins, Adam Henrique, and Derek Ryan had a 6.6% expected goals for percentage at 5-on-5 tonight. That line was not good, and I hope those 3 are never put on the same line together ever again. No offense, 1 game sample size. They were hemmed in their own end every time they touched the ice. So what did you guys and girls and everyone else, what did you think of the game tonight? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Happy the Oilers get the 2 points, but not happy with their overall play. But we do get the victory chain. This is always fun to wear, even though it's very heavy on my neck, but I do love wearing this thing. And hopefully the Oilers get to allow me to wear this a whole bunch more heading into the final stretch of the season. Like I mentioned, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you like these post-game recaps, make sure you hit like. If you really like them, make sure you hit subscribe, because I do a post-game recap after every single Oilers game. I also do pre-game reports, and then I do day after episodes as well. And then I usually do different things in between too. So, yeah, you all have a safe and wonderful night. As always, I appreciate you tuning into the channel, tuning into my videos. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching. Go Oilers.